what for you drug us out to the Shadio.
Welcome to DDay. This is Accuracy Third.
I'm dead.
And?
I'm slightly confused.
Yeah, well, everyone's confused today because today is the third week in a row that we are releasing an episode. But to be fair, this episode isn't actually an episode. Today, we have a discretionary cut of Beth and my interview with Iandustrial. Iandustrial was kind enough to go to Soak last year and record a bunch of interviews with Sokians, who obviously you heard last episode.
Soakerites?
Sokesians.
Soquarians. I think we landed this.
Iandustrial came here to help us bracket the interview with some context about what Soak is and how it works. But Beth and I ended up talking about the wet burn in 2023 at Burning Man instead of talking about Soak that much. So in cutting out the pertinent parts of our talk with the Iandustrial for the intro and outro of our Soak episode, I realized that we had fully like 40 or 45 minutes of really cool stories that we could share with our listeners. And it's stuff that we usually only share with our patrons on Patreon. Thank you, patrons. So for all of you, I don't want to say run-of-the-mill, but run-of-the-mill listeners.
For the hoi polloi.
For whatever that word means, of you listeners.
The lumpen proletariat, the unwashed masses.
Thank you. Yeah, yes.
Listeners.
You grubby fucks. Y'all should get the chance to hear what we are giving our patrons for $1 a month or any amount on Patreon. You get to hear an unstructured, really fun time of a couple of us in this room right now hanging out with someone from Burning Man, talking about the Burning Man stories, talking about their lives, talking about the media they like, just shooting the shit.
Lots of talking about music and movies that don't fit into the podcast.
And most of them are better than this one because I'm in them, and I'm your second favorite.
This one was pretty good. Iandustrial was really fun to chat with.
He is.
No, I wasn't there.
Well, he wants to come back.
I also chatted with him at the party, so it's good.
He, like many of our friends and guests, has more than he has to talk about his Burning Man experience than he was able to share in the paltry hour or 2 hours or 2.5 hours that we usually spend talking with folks on microphones. So you'll be hearing more from Iandustrial in the next year or so.
Please, sir, can I share some more?
Point is, thank you to our patrons on Patreon. Thank you, listeners, for listening to our show. Please enjoy this discretionary cut of our interview with Iandustrial. And please understand that if you do donate to the Patreon and do at some point start receiving our discretionary cut audio through our Patreon feed, we will not be introing and outroing the discretionary cuts. They are pretty much just the recording that we do with the folks we interview, minus anything that they or we don't think is germane to share.
Incriminating.
Thank you.
Majorly illegal. Super illegal.
Our job at this podcast is to keep our friend Germaine out of jail. Here's the Iandustrial.
That guy just cannot stop committing felonies.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll do that.
It's kind of long.
Yeah, a lot of things are.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine there's a lot that can be cut out.
It's fun for DDay occasionally to hear stuff that he hasn't labored over the entire time.
Yeah, I don't prove anything that I do.
Yeah.
I assume it's fine by the time it's been listened to and leveled.
Check. Ugh.
Yeah, there was
Check.
there was parts at the beginning that like may just need to be thrown out because there's a lot of background noise because one of the mics is up high. But I think, doesn't that thing record like individual tracks?
I think it depends on how it's set up.
Yeah.
But at the very least, we have software that can knock a bunch of that out.
Yeah.
And luckily, Rex is in charge of that as well. So
Modern audio editing software, you can put like the decibel range, so anything that's like under 40 decibels just disappears.
Yeah.
So it makes for much cleaner sounding audio than we deserve to have, despite
we deserve to have it. We struggled through a lot of bullshit for a lot of
it
years.
took us many years to figure out a few buttons that would have saved us a lot of problems.
Well, I mean, we're using free garbage audio software, Beth. I'm not, but this is. So are you.
Reaper's not free nor garbage.
Well, I mean, we paid $60 for it once.
Yeah. Iandustrial.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the studio.
It's pretty great in here.
Thank you.
We like it. You are in the Bay Area right now visiting from Portland? Are you from Portland?
No. Contrary to popular belief, there are other places in Oregon than Portland.
So,
and I live in Eugene.
Aha! I was like, so Eugene? Corvallis or Salem? Maybe Ashland.
Yeah,
that's
That's
the
a long
other
way to
place.
go.
I was going to say, yeah, Ashland is... There's a lot of burners there.
I would imagine. Do you get people from all over the state coming to Soak?
Yeah, a lot of people from Washington as well.
Yeah.
The Critical and Soak both have a lot of crossover.
How big is Soak compared to Critical?
Well, I don't know how big Critical is. I'm sure I asked that question in the interview, but I can't remember. But Soak is like just around 2,000. I think it's slightly under that. But yeah, it's like a really, there's a lot of staff that go, you know, a lot of volunteers at Soak. You know, I think as far as regionals go, it's one of the higher participation levels.
Yeah, I did my ranger training. I didn't actually become a ranger, but I did training in Portland, and there's just a ton of fucking burners all over Portland. I've always wanted to go to Soak because I figured it would be that Portland's my hometown, and I've always really loved the Oregon burners. They're just so
Oregon
trashy and ritzy. They're just, you know, they're just kind of damp but hardcore. I really enjoy the vibe
That checks out.
of Oregon burners. So I've always wanted to see what it felt like to be in a mass of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
I mean, even the Oregon cities that I've been in, like those urban areas are real rural for being big cities.
Okay.
Yeah. I could see that. At least where I live, it is.
I mean, even Portland has a whole like hat of woods that it wears.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in Eugene, the hippiest non-Portland city in Oregon.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Ashland, I mean, it's kind of a different
Ashland is definitely more hippie.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's closer to the Wooks.
Or a little more woo-woo than Eugene
Yeah,
is.
that's unfair. I guess hippies don't have to be woo-woo.
Yeah.
And how is Eugene for burner populace? I mean, it's a college town. Do you find that you're around a lot of younger burners?
Well, Eugene is just in the last maybe 3 years actually started connecting its burner community. So we started doing a monthly burner beer night.
That's
and
so good.
they're working on a Eugene regional burn.
No shit. Where would that go?
It's just outside of town.
See, we need a micro regional to the regional.
Yeah. But you know, it's I still haven't been yet. I don't want to get roped into volunteering. You know,
You just show up and they're like, "Fuck, you look competent. Throw them at anything."
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I haven't gone yet. I don't want to end up like managing a whole department.
So when you go, you just got to take your jacket off.
Yeah.
Don't show your
Oh, they already know me though.
Damn it. There's no way around it then.
Yeah.
'Cause you could totally
They know
get
I
some
drink the
smart
Kool-Aid.
boner.
Nah, man.
Funny.
Guy in a mask. Can never tell who a guy in a mask is. Yeah, you gotta let a burgeoning regional show that it's got its own legs before you start putting your effort into it. Like, you need to see if people who are not already volunteering for other burns or regionals can get this shit together, because you know we're already running one or two.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. And
I'll help you with your project, but I won't do your project for you.
also, you know, they traditionally have had it really close to Soak, and I've just been buried in running a theme camp there and just haven't had time to
How far away is Eugene from Soak? Like, is there really a need for it?
Well, so it's 4 hours to Soak. It's 2 hours to Portland. But
yes, it needs it because Soak gets sold out like immediately.
That's the thing. Yeah, I believe it sold out in under a second. I'm not 100% sure of that, but that's what I heard.
I feel like I heard that about last year's Soak.
Yeah,
it's just all the tickets were gone.
Same thing with the Unscrews.
Unscrews, yeah.
Yeah, I'm using that as my new excuse for not being a guy who goes to regionals. I would.
I can't get tickets.
Yeah, I didn't have money like within 5 minutes of it. So,
well, if you guys want to go to Soak, I run a camp. We get DGS tickets.
Great. I really want to go to Soak. What time of year does it happen?
It's Memorial Day weekend.
What weekend is that?
That's
the end of May.
Should be, but isn't.
May.
Yeah.
End of May. I could actually do that too because I'm done with school at the beginning of May. Yeah, that would be super fun. Tell us about. I mean, do you go over stuff about your camp? Are you interviewing campmates and stuff?
We talk a little bit about the camp, but
tell us about your camp.
Most of that is stuff in the early part of the episode that might get cut out.
All right.
Then we should go over it.
Yeah.
So my camp's called Over Fucking Rated.
Perfect.
It's a continuation of a camp that was at Burning Man for many years. Revo Fucking Lucian.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys bring down beer?
Oh yeah. We brought, I think the record that we brought out to the playa was 34 half barrels.
Yeah, we have drank a lot of beer at fucking Lucian.
Yep.
Back when you were over. Back when you were over in like the 9 o'clock portal.
Yep. Yeah, that's where we pretty much always were, with the exception of 1 or maybe 2 years.
Find you. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the year we were abso fucking Lucian, I think. We had a Catholic theme. We had a confessional booth out front, and you had to confess your sins. And then we'd be like, well, it sounds like you really need a beer.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
I didn't interact with it that year, or I didn't find you that year, or someone tried to get me to do that, and I was feeling punchy and was just like, no, I don't believe I have sinned.
Me either.
Yeah.
So, are you doing similar things at Soak?
Yeah, it's exactly the same camp, pretty much. We just have to bring way less beer, and we have to drive way less far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll drive 14 hours to get free beer, so it all works out.
And your camp is on less even ground. There's a lot more.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a thing for sure. But there's trees for shade, which is kind of nice.
The last time I went to Critical, a friend of mine who's really into stilt walking fucking ate it on stilts. Because it didn't matter how drunk or high he got on playa, he could fucking handle those stilts. But this is on a hill.
Yeah,
like,
and
with different kinds of terrain.
Yeah, it's a pretty steep hill for Critical, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if
or steep parts at least.
But if where I was is the same place they do it now. But for the longest time, they did it at this nudist resort that was super sweet. So there were like showers and stuff, and a bunch of like local nudists that would drive around in golf carts, being like, they really got the burner vibe and made it was really, really sweet. It's like you always knew they were the nudists because they were absolutely naked no matter what the temperature or how hard it was raining. And they're always driving golf carts. They never like got out and walked anywhere, but they would get out and then they would give out what was it called? Redneck lemonade. It was PBR vodka and Minute Maid on ice.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was. They were so pleased with themselves for finding something absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, what a horrible
totally
spritzer.
drink. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah, but that
doesn't sound like
uneven.
the worst thing in the world. There's no Malort in it.
I see by all of your signs that you are in fact Gate.
I am. Yes.
How long have you been working for Gate?
I just did 5 years. I've been to Black Rock City 13 times, but I didn't find Gate until 2017.
So now you're like really going to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you go with this camp and volunteer at Gate?
Yeah. Well, so we don't do over fucking rated or Revo fucking Lucian at Burning Man anymore.
Oh.
It's just.
When did it retire from Burning Man?
So the last year we did it was 2015, and that was Carnival Mirrors. Mm-hmm. And that's when we changed the name to Over Fucking Rated. And in our sign, the E and the R are backwards. So it says Revo backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So there's still like, homage to the original name and the camp. But it was 2014. We realized that using reverse psychology to get people to come drink our beer worked better than just asking them to come drink our beer. We'd be like, oh yeah, you guys probably wouldn't like it. Yeah, that's right. Follow that guy. Keep walking. You wouldn't like this place. The beer's too cold.
Even handle the kind.
This bar's really shady.
That is such a. I am a sheeple burner. If you shout at me to come get drinks, I will dutifully come get drinks. But I do really like that as a way to get people in off the street.
It's funny too. People are like, "What? Did you just say cold beer?"
Hey, I bet you're not even cool enough to drink beer.
They're like, you can't tell me what to do.
So do you camp with Gate now? Or do you have another theme camp?
No, I've been camping with Black Rock City Welding and Repair for quite a few years now.
Are they're a theme camp that helps people with their welds?
Yep. And that's what I do outside of Playa as a job. So it's cool to,
be a guy with a big transformer and alligator clamps and
all those things. Yeah. People pull their art car up with a broken like staircase or something, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if you guys can really fix this." We're like, "Oh, we got you."
That is rad.
I'm just gonna
weld bikes.
I weld a lot of pedals.
Oh, I bet you do.
Pedals strip out, and we're like, "Well, we'll weld it so it can't fall off."
So
there are some really gnarly scars thanks to your efforts.
Sweet.
Right, because then they can't flip around. They just stay in one spot, the pedal?
Sometimes. It depends on the bike.
Okay.
Sometimes they still turn. Sometimes they don't. I like it when they don't, though.
Yeah, I feel
it's like you bring a janky bike. You might have a janky experience with that bike.
Took me like 6 years of it to get a nice bike. That only lasted 1 year because I left it out in the rain for the next year.
I was going to say, is it still a nice bike? I'll bet not.
It might be now. We had a boarder who used to own a bike mechanic shop, and he did some work on it. But
Sweet.
I mean, that was 2 months ago. It's covered in a tarp, but Burning Man is almost half a year away.
It's all about the pressure washer with Calgon.
Yeah, I bet.
if you're feeling motivated enough to do that.
I might be.
So with your work with Gate, do you mostly work the event week itself, or do you come in early?
I generally come in early and try and get everything done by just shortly after the event starts so that I can weld shit for people the rest of the time.
That is the way. Is to get your volunteer stuff on.
Get it knocked out, and then I get to participate in the city. So I get to be part of the event crew and then part of the city.
Are you guys bringing generators to power your welders? Or
well, we used to, but we're all solar now.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a giant solar array and giant battery array that will actually run our welders now.
For like any idea how many hours? That's an impressive amount of power.
The last 2 years we've had it, we've never had to plug in the welders. And, we use them intermittently throughout the day. Like, we're also a bike shop, so a lot of the stuff that comes through is just normal bike repair stuff we don't need the welder for. But, people bring, like, broken metal art or an art car that's falling apart.
Is your camp location near where all of our staff camps are? Because we've got a lot of broken stuff.
No. Fortunately for us, we're far away from where the commissary is.
Cool.
We're in
too bad.
We've traditionally been 3:00, 3:30 in A.
Wow.
Yeah, that's too far.
On this.
Yeah,
we need these people closer.
Yeah, I don't want to bug heat, but I will if I have to.
So how long have you been participating in Soak for?
So Soak, my first year was 2017. And so 5 years of Soak, if you count, or no, actually, I guess, 5 years of Soak, and then 1 year during the pandemic, there was kind of an unofficial Soak because the official Soak was canceled, and that was called Escape. And so 6 if you count that, but I wouldn't really.
What was that one like?
It was cool. It was about 600 people. It was near the same spot, but Soak is in this valley, with rock canyon walls on both sides, and it's kind of a cow pasture. It's like rolling hills,
cool
fields. It's beautiful, but this other one was kind of more like high plains, and you could see Mount Hood, and I want to say it was Mount Rainier, but I can't remember for sure.
It would be Baker or...
Oh, maybe it was Mount Baker, yeah.
Yeah, Rainier's way up in Washington.
Yeah.
In your... Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
But
that's quite a difference.
Now I'm obnoxiously loud. Thank you, DDay.
I'm just saying you should speak into the front of the mic.
I hear you.
Everyone else speaking into the front of their mics? Okay, good.
I think I am.
You sound great.
Yep.
Is there more of those beers floating around?
Yeah.
Back in the beer
Let
fridge.
me go grab beers. This is the magic of editing. You guys just... Do you want to stay or do you want me to grab it? Thank you.
I love DDay.
I tolerate him.
I love the Flaming Lotus Girls painting.
Yeah.
Right,
we're huge fans. And we've got a chance to meet a bunch of people who work with them. That mask back there is from the Zoetrope. The DDay helped build that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so he got one of the original, masks.
DDay built that?
He helped build it. I mean,
helped build.
Totally.
Yeah, that counts.
That they gave him a part of the structure.
I loved that thing.
That was beautiful.
One of my favorite pieces ever.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, my God. Those things are so cool. In the realm of stuff that... almost doesn't work anywhere else, and specifically nothing I've ever seen. I love the zoetropes. Is that the right word for them?
Yeah,
zoetropes a lot because I do see big sculpture, maybe not nearly as much, and I do see a lot of really cool, intricate art. But I've never seen anything like that, and I like seeing them out there a bunch. Is there a bunch of neat art at Soak? Is there art that we don't get to see?
Yeah, definitely. There's some stuff that has been to the burn, but the vast majority of it hasn't. It's nowhere near as art-centric as Burning Man is, but the art that does make it out there is really cool, and especially the temple and the MBS. We call it the main burnable structure.
It's not a Burning Man.
Yeah.
It's just a structure to burn.
This last year at Soak, the theme was summer camp. And so
you guys have such better themes than Burning Man. Good for you. I'm glad you're not following down the hole of just maybe we should just make the theme Burning Man again.
Yeah. I almost put in, I really actually intended to put in, physical education because you guys are talking about any entry level college class would make a better theme. I'm like, yeah, home economics,
poli-sci.
I was too lazy to fill out the whole forum. I saw a big long forum and it was TLDR.
Yeah.
But the theme for 2024 Soak is Electric Ocean.
Oh, well, that's much more of a Burning Man theme.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I was like, oh, really? The one that I liked was the best nightclub in Thai Valley, which is funny because Thai Valley is the tiny little town right next to Soak, and there's guaranteed not a nightclub there. There might be one bar.
That is adorable. That's so adorable. I feel like when I was going to Critical, the one year, it was 2012, the theme was the apocalypse, which was fucking rad. On your way in, you would spin a wheel that showed you which way you were going to die.
Yes.
It was...
thank you.
It was impressive. I like a nice theme.
Yeah. I like a theme that isn't basically just a placeholder for a theme, that doesn't actually really say anything.
Fertility 3.0 is not on your list for what you want as a theme. What do you think about Curious?
Maybe
excitement would be better than any goddamn theme we've had in the past 15 years.
Yes. I was just saying how I was gonna vote for physical education, as a theme for Soak, but
Sweat.
Sweat. That's
Grease.
great.
Yeah, like there's so many nouns.
DDay,
can we get you to submit some themes for Soak? I'll just forward you to the link next year.
That's all anyone needs to do ever. Like, send me a link. If I don't respond within 48 hours, send me a reminder. And like sometime that day on the toilet, I will fill out your form.
Excellent.
DDay, we found out that Soak's theme last year was summer camp, which I think is a great theme.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some pretty good ones sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Rehearsal.
not. This year it's Electric Ocean, and yeah. I mean, it's better than Curiouser and Curiouser.
I'm just going to interpret that.
At least you can say it.
Rex has been like railing on at me about why it's a good theme because he's really into Alice in Wonderland. And I'm like, why? And apparently the books are really good. I couldn't. And like,
one of them is. I'm going to say that Through the Looking Glass is like 92% garbage. I read it to my kid like over the summer, both of them back to back, and like there is a marked drop in quality,
the cleverness and charmingness,
just like a fucking through line. But I digress.
Yeah, well, I mean, any excuse for bunnies, I suppose. But to me, it's just like, hey, Burning Man and or Alice in Wonderland. Like, those are your themes.
Why don't we just make the theme Burning Man every year from now on?
This is why, like, if we're going to do a theme, let's do one. Instead of being Burning Man.
Well, it ought to be a theme that artists can interpret. And it should be released several years ahead of time. Like, here's the next, like, 3 to 5
that would
iterations of this.
That would be wise.
That.
Could you imagine artists having years to plan? Like, oh, I know what this theme is, and I'm really excited about a piece that fits dead in the center of this. So I'm going to spend 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and they could even potentially pick a piece of art that is going to work for the next like 3 themes.
Ooh.
You can transform it or add to it in these ways to help develop it.
That's rad. That's a great idea.
Yeah, but like as long as the theme is a different version of Dreamscape or Burning Man or
circuses or
like who gives a shit?
Or
it's navel gazing. It's not actually a theme. Oh, party,
evolution,
party,
rites of passage. Sorry, I'm just looking at the ones around because I forget them all because they blur together.
Yeah, I mean, Cargo Cult was good. Well, we have the good ones up for the most part.
I mean, Cargo Cult was at least enough like racist that I was like, ugh, I have feelings about this theme.
Yeah.
Caravansary is pretty cringe.
Caravansary.
Pretty cringe. Real big man, though.
Actually, Evolution was the year that Revo fucking Lucian got its name.
Oh.
Before that, we were Carbo fucking Nation.
Evolution, I don't actually think sucks as a theme. And honestly, The theme of my first Burning Man, which I was really embarrassed about at the time, I still feel like is a better theme than what they're churning out now, which was, not the Green Man, which was the...
That was my first year.
Yeah, mine too. And, but then it was American Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And
I missed that one, but that's a better theme than most of them.
It's a theme. And at the time I was like, I don't fucking know. I don't think this is a fun theme to explore. And like artistically, it really wasn't the art that, but again, maybe if people had a couple of years to think about what it is that they like, there's a lot to deconstruct about American Dream, but they only know 9 months in advance what the theme is.
Yeah. You almost have to already know what your art is going to be by the time you find out what the theme is at this point, if it's going to be a large project.
Right. Because they take so much time and money and energy, you can't just churn it out. Anyway, I'm sorry, bitching about the org. We don't have to do that. I mean, it is fundamental to being a burner to do this.
Yeah.
But we don't have to keep doing it.
But we can, if we have, which we might.
So are you going out to both Soak and the Big Burn this year?
Definitely, yeah. So the way Soak tickets for staff work are much like the Burn with most apartments, where you work enough hours, you get a guaranteed ticket the following year. And so I'm just on the Soak train. I get a ticket every year. I work enough to get another ticket. It's kind of hard to say no that way. That's
sort of what we were talking about before, the barrier for entry to getting into a lot of these popular regionals. Like, could not get tickets to Unscrewed this year, and then it's sort of like, well, how do you even start at a regional now? It used to be like, hey, Burning Man's a big commitment. It's a lot of time and energy and camping. Like, one of the great things about Critical is you can get in your car, drive 15 minutes, go get groceries. Like, you don't have to be in this situation where it's like you are going to have to leave, sit through hours of line again, drive for at least 2 hours to a grocery store. Like,
yeah, Soak is probably a half hour, 45 minutes from the Dalles, but there is a tiny little store that's, right outside the gates almost.
Do they love you guys?
They do, actually.
Yeah, I would imagine.
We talked in the interview about how that small community there, they had the Rajneesis. That were one of the
Dalles, yeah.
Yeah, they were one of the domestic terrorist cults. They did
they sprayed poop water on a salad bar.
Supposedly. I still think the CIA is involved in that one.
I'm sure some 3-letter agency or cop is involved in most of them in some way, but I don't. That was.
That is
too crazy to be orchestrated.
The idea that you're a domestic terrorist because some people got food poisoning at salad bars seems very weird to me, and a big jump.
Well, that's bullshit, but those were some crazy motherfuckers doing some real competent crazy motherfucker shit that I don't believe the CIA is capable of.
I really
I'll give you that.
The Rajneeshis are my home cult. My parents grew up seeing them come into Portland and town, and I grew up going through Antelope, Oregon, which was their sort of main base, the town that they actually tried to take over and voted to rename before the whole thing collapsed. And then the city was sort of like, never mind then, you don't get to rename us. Wait, like everyone voted and the town was renamed. And then the cult collapsed. They're just like, we're just going to ignore that.
Yeah, so the local community is pretty afraid of cults.
Sure.
After that, so we try and that's why we call it the main burnable structure and not the effigy.
Makes sense.
It's kind of a culty word.
Oh my God! Then how great would a year where the theme is cults? Everyone dresses up with their favorite cult members.
Yes,
like every theme camp creates their own.
Burning Man 2025 cults.
That's great. Yeah. I'm all in. I really appreciate the org for listening to this and then deciding to do the thing we think would be great.
I heard
at least we know the Lamplighters would be fully in theme.
Yeah, like that, right? They're already ready. And for that matter, like Gate and DPW have pretty good uniforms already. So does Census.
They are also cults.
Gate even has a bunch of rituals around it. I assume DPW does as well. We just don't ever hear about it. It's something really sad.
I think it's just not as
trips to Rampart.
There's not as many people who play strategy board games in DPW as there are in Gate. That's just a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And in general, I feel like Gate is the most non-monogamy one, where DPW is a little like, it's more like theater kids where they try to be horny, but everyone breaks each other's hearts instead because they've actually negotiated healthy relationships.
That checks out.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Gate talks a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Have you ever sat down in the black hole and said, someone tell me about polyamory?
No.
I would never do that.
It's not a phrase that I ever considered saying out loud, but that would be funny. Just pretend I've never heard of it before.
So what is this thing that you're talking about?
So I heard like some people here date like more than one person at the same time, but like I heard that and I was like, that can't be possible. There's no way that would work, right?
And then
I want you this year to do that to Poly Paradise. Just like go in with the fucking 4 recorder.
Somebody else has to record me so I can focus on like how doofy I'm trying to be. I can't do 2 things at once. No way.
Yeah, it'd be great if you guys did more on Playa, just like little blips.
Some stuff on Playa this year that didn't work out to the recorder in any way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah, we had such great audio. We recorded the 420 Spire, just like the sound of it, and it was really just beautiful. Like we were standing next to each other listening to it, and trying to make sure that
cacophony of drunken yelling.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing.
And like the sound of the structure falling apart.
Yes.
And the sound of the fights.
Hooting and revving and power tools.
Fireworks.
Yeah, it's and the worst music.
Oh, and competing art cars just playing the worst. That was part of the thing, is we had to find a place where we weren't too close to one song so that it would get copyright claimed.
Yeah, so if they're just like battling each other, you can't Shazam that.
Yeah. That's, at that point, that's art.
But we lost that audio, and then I think we were also defeated by that we just also the rain. I don't know if we were supposed to record with DA, like DA, the head of L&T, wanted to take us around on his golf cart and record with us about Leave No Trace.
That would be great.
It would have been so fucking rad. And we were waiting towards the end of the week because that's when he has a little bit more free time before the start of strike. And then the rain. And then it was just like everyone for themselves. We need to finish strike and get off Playa. I didn't have enough energy to like walk to like the toilets that weren't totally jammed up. I certainly didn't have the energy to track down DA and go for
snowshoes wrapped in tarp this year, just in case.
That sounds like it would actually work really good.
I just had the idea right now. It may or may not. I'm certainly not going to do it. But if anyone wants to bring the dowels and the plastic sheeting for us to construct on Playa if we need to, I got you, boo.
You'd be able to get right past the water main break in front of the black hole.
Oh, God, I love that every year. I was stopped by that one year for a moment. The thing is, when you're driving, you're so like hyper aware that you're driving in a place that like probably no one should be. Any sort of official like intervention at that point is just like, thank God someone's in control.
Oh, good. Someone's telling me what to do, because otherwise it's just like, I hate driving on Playa so much.
Yep.
Sorry, catharsis and all that.
Yeah.
How was your year this year?
It was fantastic.
Rain? Yeah.
My favorite. Well, my second favorite. My first year with the men burning early and the big rig jig and the crude awakening. Yeah. You know, it's going to be really hard to top that one, but you know, a little Schadenfreude went a long way. 2023 was second place so far.
It was a time.
It was.
How did you spend were you there for the first rain shower and setup week?
I was not. I missed it by about a day and a half. Things had just dried up
enough for
pretty
you.
much right. I got there the day they reopened the gate.
Mm-hmm. Good timing.
Yeah.
DDay barely got in before it all came down.
Mm-hmm. They were going to hold me in Gerlach for an indefinite amount of time. And they were like, oh, no, you can go. And then I went and I got to the gate and they were just like, yeah, why are you here? They're like, you can wait across.
Great communication in this agency.
For a while. Yeah, well, I was kind of napping in the car and got information third hand, but it worked out I wasn't gonna I don't want to unpack my shit so that I can spend a night or two or three in
a hotel.
Yeah, my stuff is crammed, man. I'm not going to uncram it and then cram it again.
So how did you spend your rain in time during the event?
I was very lucky to meet this fine lady on Playa. We got to spend the whole rainy time together. Nice. My Hexiert flooded. That was another thing.
Yep.
So, yeah, I was almost forced into that situation. Not that I mind it. But it was actually worked out quite well.
I mean, it is a time to fall in love because you are real trapped.
Yeah.
Being marooned for only a certain interval of time is pretty fun.
And
yeah.
But marooned in a way where literally everything you could ever want is just a disgusting wet walk away from you.
Yep.
It's not like marooned where it's I'm worried about if I have enough food or if it's just hey, do you want the really nice room? Because I need to take off my shoes and walk around the porta potties by 20 feet. And then
worst case scenario, if this lasts too long, we're going to have to string up a tarp for everyone to shit in. But we've got food for weeks.
Oh, that'd be a great theme camp.
Shit tarp.
We were centimeters away from having all of our porta potties zip tied.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
We,
yeah,
filled up one.
Black hole was pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little bleak. And they were in the first rain, they had pumpers are stationed by the commissary ones. So it was a little bit hey, everyone, unless it's an emergency, because we're at an undisclosed location that isn't too terribly far away from commissary, but it's still a fucking hike in the conditions. But it's hey, if it's not an emergency, can you
go for a stroll?
Please go over to the commissary. We're trying to keep these open for emergencies. Also, if you need more pee bottles, let us know. We'll be dealing with those in a bit. But it was still.
But just go climb these giant dunes in front of the commissary toilets instead.
So bleak. Our volunteer coordinator for setup is Russian. And she's actually been on the podcast before, Mother of Goats. And she told us, she's never have I ever seen Playa feel so much like a Russian village. We had wooden planks that we put down to help people get from place to place because we happened to have a whole bunch of them.
Danger planks,
because of course they get slick on top as well. So now the top means your feet can go out from under you. Whereas stepping in the mud means you might not get your shoe back or your foot back or your knees back.
Nothing was great. Everything was fun and hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just realized I have stickers for you guys.
Oh, hooray. We
love
have stickers
stickers
for you too. And patches. There's patches in the jar. There's stickers in the wood. And then we should probably figure out everything that needs to be said to contextualize this soak episode, so we don't forget to give that material to Rex, and then everything else we chat about can go in your interview.
We should just do the intros and outros too.
Without Rex?
Yeah.
My laws.
Wait. It'll be okay. I promise.
Okay. Yeah, he's editing it.
Yeah, you can just chime in, like,
Yeah, just
record on top of it.
No way, man. Oh, man. Good one.
Welcome to Accuracy Third. I am Beth.
I'm DDay. And I'm Rex.
Fucking audio magic. Today we are in the studio with Iandustrial. Gate human being? Is that unfair? A lovely organizer of a major theme camp at Soak who did some recording up there with folks during the event this year. Iandustrial has given us this lovely audio that we're going to share with you now. And we have lovely, I'm doing it too much. I'm stoned. Something.
That's a good drop, though. Using that a lot.
I feel like I've left Rex a terrible puzzle to sort out how to shove.
He'll figure it out. He knows how words work. Point is, Iandustrial is our newest correspondent here at Accuracy Third. And in addition to this Soak audio, you also sent us audio from Loveburn or Pulse or something else.
That was not me.
Great. In addition to Iandustrial, we also have another mysterious correspondent out there who, if I'm not mistaken, put audio from maybe Portal Burn, maybe Loveburn in our inbox. So as long as the quality on that turned out good, you'll be hearing that in an upcoming episode as well. And if you're interested in helping us with our project, you can get in touch with us at accuracythird@gmail.com. And now here's a bunch of us talking to Iandustrial about Soak and some other things, and interviews with people at Soak featuring Iandustrial. Great.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing our work for us. It's really appreciated.
With us, Beth.
It's like the weird frame of the podcast that is to share a whole bunch of people's point of views and perspectives on this wild thing we all do together. We can't really do it just ourselves. So I so appreciate both this sticker and you helping by gathering audio to events that we aren't at.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I know a lot of people that are pretty highly connected with Soak, so it was cool to get their history of the event, and also kind of a good idea of what it takes to start something like that yourself, because it's pretty far along now, but it started somewhere, and that's kind of one of the things we talk about.
That's rad. I can't actually wait to listen to your audio. Rex is going to love this.
Yeah.
He's a huge Never-Ending Story fan.
Great. Yeah, I got the idea right before the burn, and didn't actually make the stickers until after I got back.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's the Swamp of Sparkle Pony Sadness.
Like the idea of a commemorative sticker.
Yeah. Well, let's just forever refer to 2023 as the Swamp of Sparkle Pony Sadness.
Do you have anyone you particularly want to thank for giving you time or helping make the interviews happen?
Definitely Pavlovex Apparatus, Bratty Cat, Chef Juke. I know I'm going to be forgetting people. Space Cadet, Manimal.
I mean, how many
Natasha.
people can you possibly thank?
Yeah. How many people could I possibly
over you
interview? A lot. probably some of it you'll throw out. So maybe some of those people aren't even on it, but that's okay.
Well, you can still thank them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for your time and for your interest. And if you are listening to this podcast episode and you expected to be in the episode but weren't, reach out to us directly. We won't do you like that again.
And you can come on the show yourself.
Yeah, a lot of those people should. I'm going to just should at Apparatus and Chef Juke. Personally, even though we've barely met, you should come on the podcast.
I will tell Chef Juke myself. He would make a great full-length interview. I only had him for maybe 5 minutes. And that was probably the worst audio.
It might be cut out.
This might be cut out, but...
This isn't the first we've heard of Chef Juke. That name is real familiar.
Yeah, he works in the Burning Man IT department.
Yeah, he's on the DMV council.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the DMV council. He's also one of the people that does Doing It Wrong at burningman.org.
What's that?
So that's if you see someone that's using the IP of Burning Man or, just generally doing it wrong.
Uh-huh.
You can email them and they get in touch with placement if it's a placement issue, or get in touch with Burning Man Legal if it's a Burning Man legal issue.
Yeah, have you seen assholes using Burning Man footage to sell their shitty software? This is a place where you can narc on them in enjoyable ways.
Mm-hmm. Doing it wrong at burningman.org.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not being a cop, it's being a hall monitor. That's just enough.
It's being a principles enforcer.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Accuracy Third is produced by Accuracy Third, which is DDay, Rex, and I, along with Iandustrial and anyone else who's willing to record audio for us. We fucking adore it. More people out there with microphones talking to folks, the more experiences we get to hear about and know more about the weird ass community that actually creates the foundations of these events. If you want to support us, we do have a Patreon, and that comes with some additional long, rambly bits of audio. And it helps us do what we're doing here. We have a shed to maintain, guys.
And I have to say, it is quite the shed.
Thank you. We spent a lot of time on the shed. And you're saying that with it as grimy as it currently is and overridden with just piles of stuff. Eventually, a lot of that stuff will be up on the walls instead of the floor. Thank you to all of our $1 patrons on Patreon in no particular order. Thank you to Meredith, Wilhelm, Brooke, Jonathan, Heather, Tara, Kim, Chris, Tyler, Kim, Michelle, Mike, Sarah, Benjamin, Ira, and Mr. Bear. Thank you all for helping us put on this podcast.
Wow. We're doing that now?
This is like the second time we've done that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very stoned when we fucking record.
Well, get used to having to say Iandustrial on that list, too.
Great. Thank you, Iandustrial. And the music in this episode is by... Good job, Rex. Thanks.
Setting traps for him.
Oh, and you should join our Discord and follow us on Blue Sky, even though we haven't made the Blue Sky account that we said we would so long ago. And if you would like to join Blue Sky, we have so many Blue Sky invites. Reach out to us and go on their Twitter, where there are not fascists, as far as I can tell. It's real queer there.
There's fascists everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. They infiltrate everything.
Nice. Good place to leave it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's crumbling. Oh, yeah. Stop that, and I'll save it and put it on the server.